What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are back with some more off-season rebuilds, as today we're going to be doing a Los Angeles Clippers off-season rebuild today. Before we get into today's video though, guys, if you could leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here, that would be greatly appreciated. It helps grow the channel, so thank you guys so much for that. But we are talking about the playoffs still, of course, as we had some playoff basketball this weekend. A lot of fun game ones for sure. A lot of fun ones. So obviously the Clippers, the team we're talking about today, though, did end up losing in the play-in tournament. So we are going to be rebuilding this team in the offseason. So let's go ahead and summarize these playoffs, and let's go ahead and see what happens here. Actually, I just realized the bracket is all messed up on the Eastern Conference side of things as well. You have Boston, Chicago, and then Milwaukee and Brooklyn. So that should be swapped, but it's all right. I don't think it'll matter at the end of the day. But the Heat end up being the Suns in 6 to end things off. So let's just go straight to the draft lottery, though, and let's go ahead and see how this offseason is going to go for us. But obviously, the lottery isn't going to impact us too much because I don't even think we have our first-round pick this offseason. It's going to go to the Thunder. So shout out to the Thunder for having that pick, because obviously the Paul George trade, the Pistons get number 1 overall pick, the Kings get number 2, and the Rockets get number 3. But for the most part, I mean, the Clippers are going to be fine. Let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, literally all they need is Kawhi and Paul George back, and then, of course, they got Norman Powell and Robert Covington at the trade deadline practically for free, in my opinion. So they're going to be just fine. Once Kawhi is healthy, this team is going to be scary again. And we can pretty much count on that. I think we're all aware of that. So once Kawhi is healthy, this Clippers team is going to be right back up top, championship contenders. They better hope they win one, because obviously, as we know, the Clippers went all out to go get these two guys. And it hasn't worked out so far. But hopefully this season, with the healthy Kawhi, you have Norman Powell now. I assume they would probably re-sign Covington. Things should work out. Let's go ahead and start with the staff signing. I'll fill this out real quick because, as you guys know, this takes forever and I hate doing it. So I'm going to fill this out real quick, and then we can continue with the offseason. Today's video is brought to you by Prize Picks. So now that we got the regular season coming to an end, March Madness is over, and of course now we have playoff basketball coming soon. So what better way to make playoff basketball even more fun by playing a game we like to call Prize Picks over here. Prize Picks is a game where you're literally just picking overs or unders on NBA players or any sport you really want to in general. So basically, show you a few examples of some times that I've won some money playing this game. It's just so much fun. Basically, you just pick a player because they have numbers up all the time. You can either choose between over or under, obviously, and then you're literally playing nobody but the number. So you don't have to worry about facing anybody else and someone else beating you. It's literally you versus the projections, and it's so much fun. And if you want to go ahead and download it, the link's in the description below. Use my promo code Crushables, and they match up to 100%, deposit match up to $100. So it's so much fun. Might as well join it. I would love to see you guys play some Prize Picks. So now that our staff is completely filled out with Tyronn Lue as the head coach, obviously we're not going to be changing that. Tyronn Lue, one of the best in-game adjustment head coach type guys. So I think he's obviously going to be the head coach for a while here. He's a pretty damn good coach, which we all thought it used to be just LeBron that carried him. But no, I think the man has proven that he's a pretty damn good head coach. So, again, this Clippers roster, surrounded with a lot of talent. I mean, a lot of wing players, which is the style of basketball they play, where they could switch everything. Small ball lineups all the time for this team. And I like it for this Clippers team. Obviously, I have Zubac, who has a team option, which I imagine the Clippers would accept that just to keep some big man, some height there at the center position. As far as draft pick situation for us, we do have a second-round pick. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and see if we can get into the second round. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to have this pick or not. I think we do. I believe we do, but I mean, if not, I guess it doesn't impact the video too much. But it doesn't matter who we take. They might be included in a trade if I'm going to do something in this offseason, because like I said, there's really not much the Clippers need to do. It's just a matter of getting healthy in this team, which I feel like we've said that, though, in the past, though, about this team. Like, it just needs to be healthy, and they'll be fine. But if they really are healthy, I feel like they will be fine. So I'm going to accept Zubac's team option. Batum declines his player option, so we'll have to see what we want to do about that. Batum was big in that playing game, of course. Really good defense. So I imagine Batum and Covington are two guys the Clippers would want back. They fit the style, and obviously they fit really nicely around Kawhi and Paul George. So that's going to start things off. I'm going to give them both one-year contracts because I think that is something the Clippers would definitely be interested in. So if we sign those two, bring them back on the team. Isaiah Hartenstein is a free agent as well. Might get him for some more center depth if I can find him. So you also have Eric Gordon as a free agent. If he got bought out by the Rockets, I wouldn't mind going to get Eric Gordon for this Clippers team. He used to play in LA, actually. And as far as Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't really know where he is at. If I can find him, I might try to re-sign him. I'm not really sure how much money he wants, but As far as maybe trying to improve the roster somehow, again, you know, they got Norman Powell and Robert Covington in the trade deadline practically for free. The Blazers literally just got Keon Johnson, Winslow, and a second round pick in return. So the Clippers basically got Norman Powell for free, basically, and Covington on top of that. So Clippers, good job. You finessed the hell out of the Blazers, which, you know, is paying as a Blazers fan. But regardless, if we look at this team, and if there's a way we can improve the roster, there definitely is. You have salaries that you could trade away. The biggest problem is, though, is this Clippers doesn't have any draft picks really to trade away. That's something we definitely have to keep in mind. But you have Morris, you have Covington, and then Zubac. I guess the only thing I wouldn't mind getting for this team is like a guy that we could like have as our small ball 5. That could just be really freaking good for us. Now, obviously, you could just start like Marcus Morris Sr. there. But if we could get like another guy, maybe that could do that as well. We might look for that. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe if you could convince New Orleans to give you Larry Nance, who's been really good for them, obviously, as far as you guys have seen in the play-in games. And he was actually pretty solid for them last night in the Suns game as well. So I wouldn't mind trying to get Larry Nance from them. That'd be a guy I feel like the Clippers could definitely use as like a small ball type of 5 guy. But I don't know if they'd be one to give him up. Or you could just go for like something different. Maybe you could try to get Malcolm Brogdon from the Pacers. I mean, you do have the salary to match it, but I'm just not sure the Pacers would want to trade Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, that could be the home run hitter for us, just to add some more talent to this team. Because literally, like I said, the Clippers, they went for it. They traded everything to get Paul George and Kawhi. So if they don't win a championship with this team, it's going to be a huge failure. And the time is running out. It's been like 3 years, I feel like, since, you know, Kawhi and Paul George have been on the Clippers, and no championship yet. You know, health might have played a factor or some other things, but you definitely need to make something happen. So I do want to make like a home run type trade for this Clippers team, whether that's like a Malcolm Brogdon, if I could convince the Pacers to give him to me, or whatever it may be, because you definitely need to do something in order, like I said, to make this team go all the way and win the championship, because if you don't, it's going to look really bad. So like I mentioned, literally no draft pick to trade away. So this is kind of the trade that you could maybe put together for the Pacers and see if they would accept something like this. So Brogdon obviously gives them like another good guard option other than just Reggie Jackson at the point guard spot. And you can have like Reggie Jackson be the 6th man. Although Reggie Jackson has been really good. Don't want to take anything away from him. But this just is something we could do to improve this team in the offseason. So it's Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann, Keels, and Brandon Boston. The problem is we can't trade at first at all. So that might be something Indiana would not be interested in. They would obviously probably love to collect draft capital. But you do get Trevor Keels. You do get Boston, who could maybe become something, and Luke Kennard. Salary kind of just makes the deal work. So, and then Terrence Mann might be somebody they'd be interested in as well. So we're going to offer this, and they do accept. So get Malcolm Brogdon on this Clippers team, and he's going to be moving to point guard for this team. So he's going to be playing point guard with Reggie Jackson. So those two could split time at the point guard spot, maybe even have them out together at times. And then we'll probably move Paul George to shooting guard, and then we'll have, obviously, it'll be like a Brogdon, Reggie Jackson. You got Paul George, Norman Powell. You got Kawhi Leonard, Nicholas Batum, and then Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, and Zubac. So honestly, this team like has a lot of options. The starting 5 could look a number of ways. You could have Norman Powell in the starting 5. You could have Covington in the starting 5. You could start Batum. You could start Morris. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with this Clippers team. So it's very, very expendable. Like, you definitely have a lot of options here. But I think that Brogdon trade puts us over the top a little bit, and I think it helps out tremendously. So I really like that trade for this Clippers team, as to try to go for it. Go for it if you can. Like I said, might be tough, though, to convince Indiana to give you Brogdon without including a first-round pick, which they can't trade, I don't believe. Maybe there's a trade down the line that you could trade, or maybe a pick down the line you could trade away. But we definitely also need, like, a backup center. So, like, a Serge Ibaka was on this team, but they traded him at the trade deadline, if I remember correctly. So, probably won't be getting him. I think Isaiah Hartenstein is the guy we probably want back. Drew Eubanks was really good for Portland, so maybe you go for him. Just somebody to give you a little bit more size. Aaron Baines, who hasn't played basketball in a while, Jahlil Okafor. Then there's like Cody Zeller, which I think I might actually sign Cody Zeller on this team, because honestly, like I said, this team's going to go small a lot, but at least you'd have 2 center options. So I'll give Cody Zeller a 1-year deal for this team, and Isaiah Hartenstein will never mind, he goes to the Golden State Warriors. Okay, that's fair. Ennis Freedom I don't want. Maxi Kleber, though, might not be a bad option for this team. I'll give him a 1-year deal, and maybe he could be like our small ball 5 as well for this team. So yeah, I kind of like the idea of Maxi Kleber on this roster with Zubac, maybe playing small ball center for us if we need him to. So yeah, not too bad. This is going to be the Clippers roster. Like I said, they just need to be healthy and they'll be fine. But we've said that a lot and things haven't worked out. But they really do need to win a championship with Kawhi and Paul George. It has not worked out. And if you look at everything, though, literally everyone in the roster is going down overall because there's a lot of veterans on this team. This team is trying to win a championship. So 2K might look at this team and say that we suck. So I would not be surprised if we just like didn't even make the playoffs this next season, just because 2K in age obviously matters in this game. When you're going down overall, it usually doesn't work out. So we'll see how things look as far as rotation wise. So power ranking does land us at number 5 though. So we are still looking pretty good on paper. There's just the regression looked very bad. But we have Malcolm Brogdon, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris at the 4. They want to start Maxi Kleber, but I don't think I can get behind that. I assume Zubac would still start, obviously. So we'll put Zubac as the starter. Maybe give Morris a little bit more minutes. And then you got Norman Powell as your 6th man, Kleber, Reggie Jackson, and Nicholas Batum. So the bench is really solid, and Covington isn't even getting minutes right now. That's how deep we are. So proficiency-wise, we're at 3.5 defense, 4-star balance, which is probably what we'll move it to. But again, this team is going to go small at times, and Zubac will probably get benched and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, this could be your Clippers team. Now, if it's not Brogdon, I see them making some type of move. I just don't know what it would be. Again, it's going to have to be something you don't have the clue to pick in. Maybe a 2nd round pick, but you're not going to be able to trade a 1st. So unless if it's a 1st way down the line, which I'm not sure they're able to or not. But regardless, we're going to simulate this season with this new look Clippers team. Malcolm Brogdon joins the fold here. Gives them another option with Kawhi and Paul George. And again, you just need these two to be healthy. And I mean, you have the potential to really do anything. So let's go ahead and simulate this season with this healthy Clippers roster. And let's see what happens. So at the end of the season, we went from like the 3rd seed at times, 2nd seed, but we end up as a 6th seed. So we avoid the play-in tournament at the very least. But this is where things are going to get tough, because after this, you have Kawhi and Paul George on 1-year contracts. So you got to wonder, for the future of your team, do you end up trading those guys for future assets to put yourself in a better position? Or do they just walk for nothing and then you're kind of in where you're at? I mean, the Clippers have obviously sold out for a championship. I mean, they did that. They went and got Kawhi, Paul George. MVP goes to Luka. Rookie of the Year goes to Jabari Smith Jr. on the Kings. Nurkic your 6th man. Giannis defense player, and Halliburton wins most improved on the Pacers with Brogdon gone. And Coach of the Year goes to Taylor Jenkins. Christopher Bell is your executive. But here's your All-NBA 1st team, All-NBA 2nd team, and All-NBA 3rd team. So I don't think we had a single Clipper. So Kawhi and Paul George not on here, which is relatively surprising. We got Paul George making all-defense 1st team, though, and then Kawhi makes all-defense 2nd team. And here's our all-rookie teams, which we didn't have a rookie, obviously. But we are the 6th seed going up against the New Orleans Pelicans, which is kind of funny. But so both these teams would be healthy at this point. You'd have Zion healthy, you assume, and then you'd also have Kawhi healthy. So this could look a little different. But let's go look at the stats for the team, as we had 24 from Kawhi, 22 from Paul George, then 16 from Brogdon, 16 from Powell, 10.5 from Reggie Jackson, 9 from Morris, and 9 from Zubac, and then 5 from Kleber, 3 from Batum, and then 0 for Covington, who I guess didn't crack the rotation, which I think he definitely could at times, but, you know, it's 2K. So, basically, like I said, I mean, after this, you have Paul George and Kawhi. Do they have player options on? Yeah, I guess they'll have a player option, so you'd have to, like, basically assume they may accept it or not, which $48 million would be a lot of money to leave on the table, but in the year 2024... who knows? Guys might be signing like $60 million per year type contracts, so maybe they would opt out. I mean, at 34 years old, though, not really sure. I mean, obviously, that's the future. You just don't know what it's going to look like. So, regardless, the team is going to have to compete in the playoffs. If we don't win a championship this year, it'll be a failure, which is going to be the scary part for this Clippers team going forward. So, similar to the play-in tournament, as we have Portland, Dallas, Minnesota, and LA on this side. So, we got Portland advancing and then the Lakers advancing. So the Lakers was still Russell Westbrook and then Davis and LeBron, which we will get to a Lakers offseason rebuild eventually. So don't worry about that. But New Orleans is the focus. They got John Davis in the draft. CJ is the point guard, and then healthy Zion. So here we go, baby. Can we beat the Pelicans to advance to the 2nd round is the question. Game 1 is going to go to us to start things off. 132 to 125. We beat them behind Paul George, or not Paul George, Malcolm Brogdon 25 and 10. And Paul George also had 23 and 10. Kawhi with 19, 9, and 9. So good start to the series. Can we go up 2-0? Yes, we do. Okay, it is 126 to 114. 29 from Zion, but it's 23 from Paul George and 23 from Powell and 20 from Zubac. Game 3, they do win Game 3. So obviously, if they end up tying the series, it will be a little tough on us. So I actually might simcast this Game 4 because it's going to be a very important Game 4 because I feel like if we let the Pelicans squeak back in this, they'll, get a little bit of the momentum there. So definitely would not want them taking it. I would love the 3-1 lead here and ultimately leading us to the 2nd round. But it is a back and forth game. And it looks like the Pelicans did end up taking it here. So it looks like we beat them on their home floor twice. they returned the favor and beat us on our home floor twice. So yeah, we're going to actually shrink this down to an 8-man rotation because we are literally desperate to get out of the playoffs, man. Losing to the Pelicans would be doomsday for us, obviously. So simcasting trying to put myself in the shoes as the Clippers GM, executive, whatever you want to call it. And if, seeing my team lose like this in the first round would not be a good look after everything we have given up to get this far. So we do have a nice grasping lead here, but it is a close and back and forth game for this game 5. Very important game 5 win. Very important. If we don't win this, it could look very bad. And we are going to win on their home floor. Game 5 victory. Portland ends up sweeping the second-seeded Spurs. So if we can win this game 6, we get home court advantage in the second round. So this is a very, very important game 6. We cannot afford to go back to New Orleans. So game 6 has to be won here. Has to be won here. And if we don't, it'll be definitely tough game 7 for us. And it looks like we are going to lose 138 to 107. Ends up being a 140 to 110 victory for the Pelicans. So this is going to 7. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have to win this game 7. It is really not an option. If we lose, the future is going to be very, very scary. So let's go ahead. Can we come into this game 7? We've beaten the Pelicans on their home floor every game, it looks like. So I think we could do it again. Come on, baby. And they've beaten us on our home floor every time as well. So that's kind of a flip-flop thing. But it's a close game. But it looks like the Pelicans... Oh boy, this is going to be a close game. This is a very close game. I want to jump in, but the last time I jumped into a game... Okay, I'm actually jump in and play because we cannot afford to lose this game, man. We have to advance to the second round. It'll be very bad on the future if we do not. So we're going to jump into this, baby, and we're going to try to win this game for the Clippers. I'm actually going to play this one out, too, because, like I said, I can't sit here and watch the computer lose it for me. So... whatever I have to do to win this game, I'm going to do it because, again, the future is like on the line here. It definitely is a victory we need. So we just got to play good defense. We cut the lead to 1. CJ McCollum trying to make something happen here. Got good defense on Brogdon. Oh, Kawhi gets the steal on Zion Williamson. We're off in transition. I feel like I could have maybe... Ooh, Reggie Jackson's wide open for 3. Gonna shoot that, and he's gonna hit it. It is 116 to 114. Great play from Reggie Jackson. Good shot there. Again, man, the endless lineup possibilities for the Clippers is kind of like crazy because Kawhi with another steal. Just trying to get post-up opportunities is not there. Brogdon wide open, and again, that'll be another 3. 119, 114, and just like that is like a, what is that, a 7-point swing for us? So that looks really good for us. But like I said, that lineup possibilities for the Clippers, they were able to get like a guy like Brogdon and re-sign Batum and Covington. They're going to have a lot of lineup possibilities, and CJ McCollum misses the mid-range, so we are off and running. Brogdon, I mean, we just really need a good possession here, and I think we can ultimately put the dagger on top of this team. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot this 3. I think okay. Ingram was kind of giving me space, so I thought I could maybe get that over Ingram there. But we got, is this Herbert Jones? Oh my goodness, Kawhi with his 3rd steal. I got Reggie Jackson wide open. Gonna take it. I'm gonna miss it. 119, 140. I probably should have just held on the ball there, but so far Kawhi is just like playing out of his mind. I mean, it's literally the claw. I mean, they call him the claw for a reason. McCollum for 3. We close out on that really nicely, and we do get the stop there. And they are going to call for some personal fouls here. Obviously, they're going to try to send us to the free throw line because there's not much time left for them. So this was a very, very desperate, needed Game 7 victory. So I'm happy we were able to walk away with the victory here. I'm hoping and praying 2K doesn't freeze on me this time, and we could get back to the bracket. Last time I jumped into a game, we froze up and I could not get back to the bracket. So obviously I have autosave off so I can continue playing this same file for these offseason rebuilds. So I'm going to end it off there though, or not end off the video, but we're going to get out of this game because we've obviously won it. There's no need to watch the free throws for the rest of the video or for the game. So I'm going to jump out of this game and we're going to hope and pray that 2K doesn't freeze on me. And of course I get unlucky and the game has frozen on me. So it is probably a bad idea to jump in these games now, it looks like, which is really disappointing because obviously jumping in these games is a lot of fun. But I will have to redo everything and get back to that point, and I will not be able to jump in again. So 2K, thank you for your crap game. I really wish, obviously, you could just, make this work, but it's just something you guys don't handle very well. So I'll see you guys in a second. It's going to take me a while, but I will get back to the same point. Probably, the playoffs probably won't look the same, but no, it is what it is. We're just going to have to deal with it. We're kind of back in the playoffs. While we did finish as the 6th seed, obviously, we would have been facing the Portland Trailblazers in this bracket had it not crashed, which is quite unfortunate, which Pelicans, Grizzlies on the other side, and then here's your other side of the bracket. But now we get to play the Minnesota Timberwolves here in the second round. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, though. If you got matched up against Timberwolves, you need to beat them, which the Timberwolves are on the rise. Obviously, game one over the Grizzlies, which was a very entertaining game. But game one, we're up 1-0 to start things off. 29 from Malik Beasley, but 29-10 from Paul George. And I will not be jumping into this because we know what happens in 2K. It crashes on you. Get blown out in game 2, though, so that's not a good look. Game 3, we're down 2-1. Game 4, we're down 3-1. And game 5, we lose in the second round. So honestly, wonder how different it would have been had we faced a 7-seeded Portland Trailblazers team as the Pelicans go on to win it all. So man, I really wish 2K didn't crash. I guess I just won't be jumping into games anymore for the foreseeable future in these offseason rebuilds because it just crashes and it doesn't let me get back into the menu. And again, I always have autosave off so I can continue to play on the same file that has the standings and stats correct. So I would continually, download another one every day, but I've found some before that just like stop simulating after a certain point. I mean, 2K is just a buggy game, so that's kind of where we're at. But thank you guys for watching. Definitely leave it a like if you did enjoy the video, and of course subscribe if you're new. But this is Crushables. We'll be back tomorrow with some more offseason rebuilds. Probably gonna be doing it's either the Blazers or the Pacers tomorrow, I think. I could be thinking of a different team, but this is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.